Yeah, this is a found object, a tabletop. Oh, the hotline. Better get that.
Hello.
Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, well, hello. Hello, which world are they talking about?
What you are about to see. Hello.
Sorry. One of my favorite things to do is to weed in the garden and plant.
That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. Well, why the city of Providence?
It has something to do with communication between something inside versus something outside, or withdrawing from society or from something, but apparently he's not really explaining it to anyone, so, I'd like to know.
This is a photograph from a performance piece that I did called Block. I could show you the mold. So I'm lying on my back. My head is placed in the mold, which is basically a plexiglass box. I lay my neck there. The hose comes out here. It's about that high. This is where the breathing tube came out. The liquid plaster is poured in the top of the mold until it gets completely submerged. The trick is to keep your head down until the plaster solidifies. When the plaster is cured, the molds are removed, and then I'm lifted up into the chair. And I sit there, relaxing in the chair with this 40-pound block of plaster on my head. And then people come up and interact, experience it in a different way rather than just watching it from afar. So after the performance, it's just chopped off. This is a stress point. So when you hit it with the chisel, it separates and the plaster block comes apart. I figured that one out the hard way. Sometimes you gotta go in the road. One of the reasons I like gardening, I think it relates to my past of starting these artist spaces, the one in Worcester and the one in Albuquerque. Every Wednesday night at the Worcester Artist Group, which is a place that I started up in Worcester, Massachusetts in 1987, I think it was, yeah.
Hello, here are some excerpts from Worcester Artist Group's first year.
I would come out and never know exactly what I was going to do beforehand. It was just totally improvisational and spontaneous. I was encouraging people to do more performance art or performance work. This is a performance prop that I use. It's called Mummified America. It's the everyman. It's everyman. It's a victim. It's used as a symbol of the American people. They're stuck, they're wrapped up in the flag, wrapped up in what they're told. I would do it over the years in various places, and elements of it, since the imagery is fairly powerful, I think. Years later, I was in Albuquerque. I had started an artist space out there called the Harwood Art Center. Got drawing, sculpture, mime and movement, dance, video production. It allows them to be creative, to think about things in a new way. It's not just a place where parents can drop the kids off and go to work, I like planted the seed and got it going, got it to grow, got it to a point where it's flourishing on its own, not on its own, but I mean it's flourishing, and then I step away from it. Holmesville's the last place they fix the potholes. Another thing that I'm interested in is found objects. So. Picture of a woman at Fox Point, torn in half, tossed in the ground. And this was another. This is part of a series of tables at a party. They're dancing for a restaurant, and they're giving the finger to the photographer. A wooden tray. That's that, and then placing the letterpress cuts, the printing blocks within that tray. This is a good example of how I ever walk down the street and you see somebody just at random. You just find things on the road or in a box that you pick up somewhere. You just have a feeling about that person, like, oh, they're a doctor or they're a lawyer or they just got back from the store and they're on their way to the dentist. Each one is a different person. Who are they? Really beautiful. Your mind just kind of races sometimes. That kind of stuff. In this case, it's all glass that I cut in various shapes, or the shapes already existed. Like the Fresnel lenses came from old light fixtures. They've been outside, actually, in the weather. Smooth. It's encased. I'm just touching the surface. Oh, I'd say 2 years. I normally don't paint in a traditional way with brushes or anything. The surface is laid flat, and then I pour various mixtures of pigment and epoxy on surfaces. It's mixed materials. You can see I use pigment in the plastic. And this copper. It's a powdered copper, powdered bronze, and found plastic pearls again. Putting together these disparate objects in some other configuration creates a whole different sense of belonging that they didn't have before that. So this is another found object piece, a tabletop, a big card table that had a section missing. So I used that as the bottom. And these found plastic pearls I placed on there. And I call this piece China. It strikes me as China. This is my Empire Review suitcase. Various wigs and hair pieces in here that I use for different characters. Oh yeah, you're my daughter. It's a whole other look. This was the polygamist. Performing like that is new. I mean, I've done a lot of work with big nozzle puppets, completely covered bodies and masks and headpieces, all in the voice and in the movement and the manipulation of the puppet. With character, work with wigs and masks, you're using your face, you're using your body, you're using your voice. You haven't seen me here today. Who are you? Ah, the makings of a fine president. It's a completely different way of working, but one feeds the other, back and forth. It's amazing what you can do with a wig and some glasses. You just... You see that? What? My cataract surgery has failed. There's too many bright lights in here. No, all right. Oh. That's it. I'm gay. When you do it, then you get this reaction from the crowd. One of the best things you could ever experience. This instant gratification. It's so rare. Get out. It's kind of like trust and faith in things and people around us. I mean, we believe that this house is not going to fall down. And we believe when we get on an airplane that the pilot knows what he or she is doing. Accidents happening, the pilot was drunk or whatever. But we still do it. We get on the bus, we get on the plane, we get on the train. And it's also about testing my personal limits, my own abilities, self-confidence, my ability to overcome in a situation that's presented to me, even though in this case is very self-imposed. But I'd never know what's going to happen completely.
Living inside a box for 6 days? Different. Would you like to do it? It might be a change of pace for 6 days, yeah.
What is his point? Does he want to be isolated in the middle of the city so he can be in tune with the rhythms of the city? I mean, does he think that he's going to produce art? Is his idea to produce art inside there, or is this whole idea art?
Again, I hope the neck won't be too tight and the mold will come off and then my neck won't snap when my helpers pick me up.
Give it up for Richard Goulis! We're making a mess tonight.